In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a drop-down animation effect for music and merch. Basically, when the mouse hovers over music and merch, it will appear with some submenu items, and when you float away, it will vanish. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is click on nav link on the navigator here. And this particular one is linked to music and merch. So what we're going to do is right click nav link and we're going to select convert to div block. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is go to position, set it from static to relative. With nav link still selected, we're going to add a div block now. And we're going to name it nav drop down. Let's go to position and set it as an absolute. All right, so for these corners, we're going to make all these into percentages. So 0%, 100%, and negative 200%. We're going to set the lower part to auto and set the Z index to 6. Let's scroll down to the background and set it to gray number 2 right here. With nav dropdown still selected, what we're going to do is add another div block. We're going to give it the name drop down menu. Go ahead to layout and set it as a flex. For the Y, we're going to set it to top. And for the X, we're going to set it to space around. For the gap, we're going to leave it as 0. That's perfectly fine. For the padding, let's set it to 1 rem. With drop-down menu still selected, add a div block and name it options div. And then we're going to set it to a flex. And the direction will be down. The X will be set to stretch and the Y to top. So that's perfectly fine. And for the gap, let's set it to 15 pixels. What we're going to do is make sure options div is selected, and then we're going to copy and paste it. Now we have options here and options over here. So what we're going to do is select this specific options div. We're going to give it a combo class of right. That way we know which one is the left and right div with that combo class. In the navigator, click on footer grid that contains music. So what we're going to do is go to footer and then footer div right here that contains music. So this is the footer grid class. We selected it. It's right there. So let's go ahead and copy it. Then we're going to go to the options div right here. And then we're going to paste it. What we're going to do now is select the title text of this grid. If you notice in the style panel, there is already a combo class of title. This time we add another combo, and what we're going to do is just name it black right there. In the typography, change the text color to black. Select the text below And what we're going to do is add a combo class of black as well. And we're going to change the font color to match the combo class. Then what we're going to do is select the remaining text and use the same combo class. Now, if you notice, the combo class for the title is different from the combo class for the footer text. It's because if you notice, it says footer text title black. And then for this one, it's footer text black. What we're going to do now is select the options div that's on the right. And then what we're going to do is add a button here. Add the button. For URL, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use shopify.com. You could just go to shopify.com yourself and just copy and paste the link. And we're going to click on open in new tab and exit out. Go ahead and select the button and just give it the class of shopping. With the button still selected, let's change a few settings. The first thing we're going to do is change the color of the background to black. And then the font size, we're going to make it 20. And we're going to set the font to bold. And then for button text, we're going to change that up a bit. I'm going to call it merch store. If you scroll down to borders, what we're going to do is set the radius to 10 pixels. Then we're going to click this icon right here. Click on hover. And when the mouse is going to hover, we're going to change it to blue. And then go ahead and click that drop down again and select none. In this next segment, I'm going to show you how to create the drop down animation. Basically, what happens is when you hover the mouse over music and merch, the options will appear. And when you hover away, the options will vanish. The first thing we want to do is make sure that nav link within the navigator is selected. And the specific one obviously is music and merch. The next thing we want to do is make sure we select the interactions tab. And for element trigger, click on the plus icon and then select mouse hover. Uncheck tablet, phone landscape, and phone portrait. And go ahead and select on hover, select start in animation. Click the plus button and we're going to name it show nav options. Before we hit enter, what we're going to do is actually select the nav dropdown. And then once nav dropdown is selected, go ahead and click on this plus icon. Then click show hide. As you can see, nav dropdown here and here are selected. For show and hide, what we're going to do is set it to block. And then we're going to select save. The next thing we're going to do is on hover out. We're going to select on hover out and click on start an animation. Then for show nav options, what we're going to do is click the three dots and click duplicate. And then click the three dots again and click rename. do is type hide, as in hide options, and press enter. Click the three dots again and click on configure. Click on the nav drop down, and what we're going to do is set it to none for hide and show, and go ahead and click save. The next thing we're going to do is make sure nav link is selected, which it is. Actually, we're going to select the nav drop down right here. Select nav drop down and then go to style, and for display set it to none. Then we can go ahead to the preview, and then music and merch. There you go. And then if you interact, you'll be able to click on any of these links, for example. See, that button took us to Shopify. Now then, obviously these links will work properly.